The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Chen walked with measured steps, flanked by his security detail. But it was the small figure beside him that drew every eye in the vast assembly hall. She couldn't have been more than 12 solar cycles old by human reckoning. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and she wore what appeared to be a formal military uniform, scaled down to fit her diminutive frame. The medals on her chest seemed almost comical against her small stature. Counselor Vexthor of the Krillian Empire leaned toward his aide. "Is this some kind of human joke?" His mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. "They bring a child to negotiate a war settlement." The murmur spread through the chamber like wildfire. The assembled representatives of 47 species had gathered to discuss the aftermath of the border conflicts, a series of skirmishes that had erupted along the contested zones of the Outer Rim. Humanity, the newest member of the galactic community, had been involved in several of these engagements. But this was unprecedented. Ambassador Chen approached the central podium, the young girl walking confidently beside him. "Honored members of the council," he began, "I present Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen, Tactical Officer of the Earth Defense Force." The chamber erupted in protests and derisive laughter. How dare the humans mock this sacred assembly? To bring a juvenile to discuss matters of war and peace was an insult beyond measure. "Ambassador Chen," the voice of High Counselor Meridax boomed through the chamber. "Explain yourself. Is this the respect humanity shows to this council?" Before Chen could respond, a commotion erupted from the opposition gallery. The Vacrian delegation, humanity's primary adversaries in the border conflicts, had risen to their feet. Their delegation leader, War Marshal Krath, pushed through the crowd, his scaled face unreadable. The chamber watched in stunned silence as Krath approached the podium. His species stood nearly 8 feet tall, and he towered over the small human girl. For a moment no one breathed. Then Krath did something that shattered every expectation in the room. He dropped to one knee, bringing himself to eye level with the child. His clawed hand moved to his chest in the traditional Vacrian salute of respect, given only to honored warriors. "Commander," he said, his voice carrying through the absolute silence. "It is unexpected to meet you in person." Sarah Chen's expression remained neutral, professional. "War Marshal Krath, the honor is mine." Counselor Vexthor's confusion mirrored that of everyone present. "War Marshal, have you lost your senses?" "This is a child." Krath turned, his eyes blazing. "This is no child, Counselor. This is the tactician who defeated the entire 3rd Vacrian battle fleet at the Kepler Junction." He looked back at Sarah with something that might have been respect or might have been fear. "We called her the Ghost of Kepler. For 3 months, she led us into trap after trap, anticipating every move, turning our own strategies against us. She cost us 12 capital ships and 17,000 warriors." The chamber exploded into chaos. Delegates shouted questions and accusations. How could this be possible? Humans employed children in warfare? What kind of barbaric species had they allowed into the council? Ambassador Chen raised his hand for silence. "If I may explain," he said calmly. Lieutenant Commander Chen is not a typical case. At the age of 9, Sarah was identified as what we call a strategic savant, a 1 in a billion mind that processes tactical information in ways we're still trying to understand. When the border conflicts began, our simulations and AI systems failed repeatedly against Vacrian battle logic. Sarah was the only one who could predict their movements. She was 10 years old when she first sat in a command chair. Chen continued. "We didn't want to use her. We had no choice. The alternative was losing colonies and millions of lives." General Throck of the Horgathi delegation stood, his tentacles writhing with agitation. "We fought humans at the Deneb system. I saw the tactical patterns myself. The precision, the brutality, the way they forced us into no-win scenarios." He paused, his skin darkening. "That was you as well?" Sarah nodded once. "Yes, General. I apologize for the casualties your forces sustained. I gave you multiple opportunities to withdraw." "Opportunities we were too proud to take," Throck admitted quietly. War Marshal Krath rose to his full height, addressing the council. "I have fought for 40 solar cycles. I have faced the best tactical minds of a dozen species. None compare to her." He looked down at Sarah. "When our intelligence finally identified the human commander responsible for our defeats, we expected a grizzled veteran, Perhaps someone using advanced AI augmentation instead. He gestured at the young girl. We found this. At first we thought it was misinformation, a human trick. So we set a trap at the Proxima Relay, an ambush that no commander could escape. We used every conventional and unconventional tactic we knew. Krath's voice dropped. She not only escaped but turned our ambush into a rout. We lost an entire carrier group. That was when I knew we were facing something unprecedented. High Counselor Meridax descended from his seat, approaching the podium slowly. His ancient eyes studied Sarah with new perspective.
Child Commander.
What drives one so young to master the arts of war? Sarah's voice was steady, mature beyond her years. Necessity, Counselor. I didn't choose this gift, but I can't ignore it when people need it. Every battle I won meant lives saved, human and non-human alike. I studied the species we faced, learned about their cultures, their warriors' codes. I never wanted to kill, I wanted to make them stop fighting. And yet you were terrifyingly effective at killing when needed, Krath interjected, not unkindly. Your strike at the Krevik shipyards was surgical perfection. You destroyed our logistics hub while minimizing civilian casualties to nearly zero. It ended the war in the Beta sector. Ambassador Chen spoke again. We brought Sarah here today not to mock this council, but to demonstrate humanity's commitment to peace. She is our finest tactical mind, yet we're willing to negotiate, to find common ground. If she, who has defeated you in battle, can sit at this table and seek peace, surely we can all do the same. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then slowly, one by one, delegates began to stand. First the Vakrians, then the Horgathi. Then others who had faced human forces in the conflicts. It wasn't applause, it was acknowledgement. Recognition. Counselor Vexthor, who had mocked her entrance, approached with his head bowed. Commander Chen, I apologize for my disrespect. I judged by appearance rather than deed. Sarah offered a slight smile, the first break in her professional demeanor. That's okay, Counselor. I'm used to it. Most people see a kid in a uniform. They don't see the late nights studying fleet compositions or the simulations run 1,000 times to save lives. She paused. I hope someday I can just be a kid again. But until then, I'll do what I must. High Counselor Meridax raised his staff. Let it be recorded that this day, the Council learned a valuable lesson about humanity. They find strength in the most unexpected places, and they value all their citizens regardless of age when talent presents itself. He looked at Sarah directly. Your story will be taught in our tactical academies, Commander. Not just your victories, but your restraint, your ethics, your drive to minimize harm even as you mastered its application. As the session continued into formal peace negotiations, Sarah Chen sat at the table as an equal among warriors and leaders who had lived 10 times her lifespan. She contributed insights, offered compromises, and helped forge agreements that would shape the sector for generations. Outside the chamber, Ambassador Chen placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. You did well in there, Sarah. She looked up at him, and for just a moment the weight of command lifted from her young face. Can we get ice cream after this, Dad? He laughed, the sound mixing relief and sadness. Absolutely, sweetheart. You've earned it. As they walked through the corridors of the Galactic Council, delegates parted respectfully, no longer seeing a child out of place, but recognizing her for what she truly was. Proof that humanity's greatest strength was not in their weapons or ships, but in their ability to adapt, to find greatness in unexpected forms, and to never, ever underestimate the power of a human mind unleashed. The mocking had stopped, the war had ended, and the galaxy would never look at humanity or their children quite the same way again.